Well, we're out here on this beautiful May day. Take a look at this gorgeous Linnamon basil plant. Linnamon basil is lemon cross cinnamon, is one I've been growing for over 10 years now and is more or less my favorite tea basil. I drink a lot of basil tea, and the combination of the lemon and the cinnamon flavor just is really nice. It makes a really pleasant tea. Just sit down in the evening, relax, and have a nice cup of basil tea. Always great. Now we've done a lot of work breeding this basil. I've had some outcrosses which made it a little bit troublesome, but last year I took the best one I had. I let it cross in with a bunch of other ones. So this year it's a lot more uniform, and you can see the plot of them here, which they're just getting going. We have some bigger ones that were planted earlier. I planted them a little bit too early, and some of them got zapped by the cold, but some of them made it. But you can see some of the characteristics here. Lemon basil typically has green flowers, and it has a little bit of hairs on it. But this one has purple flowers, which is like a cinnamon basil. But cinnamon basil typically has a blush on the top leaves. This one doesn't have too much of a blush. The structure pretty similar to a cinnamon basil as well. A little bit lighter green than a cinnamon basil. A cinnamon basil typically darker green. Now we do have other ones like this one that have a little bit smaller leaves. So there's a pretty good spectrum. We have to do the breeding, so we have to do selection. By the end of the season, what we have done is take the best ones, clone them, and then cull the other ones we don't like. Well, harvest them, maybe use them up, then fill in the gaps with the best ones and let the best ones interbreed with each other. So we can hopefully stabilize this one into a nice citrusy, cinnamony basil. It's just gorgeous plant, makes a great tea. Get a whiff of that one. Now this one's a little bit stronger in the cinnamon. That's another thing, is balancing the flavors. But if we take a look at some other ones, you have to go around, smell them. This one has more citrus, but a little bit of the cinnamon in there. So if you're breeding basil, you have to do a lot of patient just smelling them, and which can actually be a little bit exhausting. Your nose gets tired and it's hard to pick out the differences. So you just gotta get out here, smell them, brew the tea up, do everything you got. Now I said this is a tea basil, but you can cook with it. You could, throw it in a pasta salad. My wife even made a strawberry pie with it last year, which was really good. The combination of the citrusy cinnamon basil went really good with the strawberry pie. Let me check out this one. This one looks pretty good. Nice citrus, some cinnamon in there. Now, one problem I have with this basil is that it's not completely immune to basil downy mildew. It survives, it doesn't completely die, but it gets hit pretty bad. But we have this one, which I have a video, Star of the Sea basil, which is really nice, which was an outcross of the Linnamon basil with temperate tulsi, which is a really nice basil. Temperate tulsi is commonly sold as holy basil in the US. Supposedly it's actually an African basil, it's not an Indian holy basil. So I have two plants here from the Star of the Sea. Hopefully we can inbreed this with the Linnamon basils and create a downy mildew resistant Linnamon basil. The Star of the Sea was more or less immune to basil downy mildew, still had the citrus flavor, had the cinnamon flavor. So that's what we're gonna do to try to combat that horrible, horrible basil downy mildew, which has been plaguing me for the last couple of years. So that is Linnamon basil, one of my favorites, or more or less my favorite tea basil. Just can't wait to harvest some of this. Got to come out here and pinch off the tops, get these things growing really nice and bushy. I wish everyone could get a smell of this. So I do have some seeds offered on the website. Next year we'll have even more seeds, and it should be more stabilized next year, more uniform for growing purposes. So thank you for watching today. Hope everything is going well with everything you got going on. Happy gardening, and we'll see you next time.